Hey Ram fam, it's time for Ram Zone. Here's your host, Cam Allen.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Ram Zone. This week we're going to be having Coach Chuck Waddington of the Angelo State Volleyball team, and I'll be hosting this lovely conversation. My name's Cameron Allen. But let's go ahead and get started with Coach Waddington over here.
Yes, sir.
How you been, Coach? It's been a few months since I've seen you last.
I've been on the road, man. We're out of town. It seems like every weekend for the last month.
I know y'all hosted a tournament here, I guess, back in September, early September.
Yep.
Been on the road for a month now. How has that been going, especially with your great start?
Well, you know, we played pretty well, so I can't complain about it too much. I know our professors want us back in class, and we want them back in class. So one more week, guys. I'm sorry about that. But, you know, things have been going well. We haven't lost a match in any of those road games so far. We're 12-1 right now. Things are going pretty well.
And so y'all are now, I believe, ranked number 14 in the nation. Y'all started out preseason unranked. Did you feel that might have been wrong going into the season?
No. You got to beat somebody that's ranked if you want to get ranked. We won 3 straight matches versus ranked teams to give us an opportunity, you know, and it's where we want to be. It's what we want to aspire to all the time, you know, but you got to have a tough schedule in order to be considered for that type of stuff.
And so right now you are sitting at 12-1 so far into the season, 13 games played. Y'all's only loss was the top 25 team, second match of the year, I believe.
Yep.
And you've beaten 3 top-ranked teams, especially number 3 West Texas A&M at the time.
Yeah, they were 3 at the time. They had just won the Colorado Crossroads Premier. You know, that's the biggest and the best Division II tournament in the country, preseason tournament. You know, so they were riding pretty high, and we played really well. You know, we 2 back-to-back on the same, 2 days in a row. Yeah. It was a good weekend for us.
So y'all's 3 straight ranked wins. I believe you had Colorado Mesa, Dallas Baptist, and West Texas A&M, and those were all on the road.
Yeah.
What's it like going into those environments, top-ranked teams, and getting a win against all 3?
Well, it says a lot about our team. You know how resilient they are. You know, and you got to be able to win on the road. You want to win championships, you got to be able to compete on the road. And so we're definitely been on the road. You know, so we're setting ourselves up hopefully for something really good at the end of the year.
So looking at our team so far, we've been on the road a bunch, a lot of wins. We haven't lost on the road this year. Some would call that a road dog, a bit of a road dog. How does that feel? Like you just said, going in, playoffs aren't at home, neutral sites, or maybe a team gets to host a tournament. What's it like being able to go out on the road, keep competing? You have only gone to 5 sets, maybe twice this year?
Twice, yeah. Well, volleyball's a little different. We can earn the right to host a conference tournament, play at home. We can earn the right to host a regional, NCAA regional, and play at home. So we want to win every match we can, whether it's home or on the road. But the teams that went on the road usually gives themselves the best chance to host later on in the year.
And so we talked about being on the road a bunch. This weekend, you've got 2 more road games before getting to come back home. Friday, you're playing West Texas A&M again, a little bit of a rematch there. You got them last time. What's maybe your thought process going up to Canyon this time and playing them?
Well, they're going to be pretty motivated. You know, WT's they're going to want to win in their home court. You know, the box is a tough place to play. It always is. The crowd is right on top of you, and they're great. I mean, they're really into the match. They know the game really well, so it's going to be a tough environment for us. So we've got to come ready to play.
And so we talk about Angelo State. Home crowd's always one of the best. That's why you love playing here. Yeah. How is it whenever Angelo State travels with y'all to these games? Get a good travel with y'all?
We have a lot of people that follow us around. You know, like last weekend we were in the Metroplex, and we had as many fans as the home teams on both of those nights. You know, so it's nice. We have a good following.
And so we're looking at it, the 12-1 record. Sometimes the non-conference games, matches aren't as important sometimes, but y'all are 2-0 in conference so far. It's only 2 games, but how does it feel to get that head start whenever you start conference play?
Well, you can't win them all unless you win the first one, you know, so that's the goal. We're trying to compete. We're trying to go out every night and do the things that we want to do, you know, regardless of who's across the net from us. And, 2-0 is where we want to be right now in the conference.
And so we talked about it. You've only been to 5 sets twice so far this year. Do you like putting teams away early, or do you maybe want to see some more games go the distance and kind of get a feel for your team?
I don't know any coaches that want to go 5 sets. You know, if you can win early, you want to do that, you know. But like like on Saturday, we were down 2-0, you know, and we won the next 3 to win that match. And so it doesn't matter which 3 you win, you got to win 3 out of 5.
And so we talk about being on the road. You're about to get a homestand after this weekend. You're going to be home for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's going to be right in the heart of conference play coming up. What do you have to say to maybe all the crowd you can get, all the fans that need to come out and watch some home conference games?
I'd be like, hey, remember us? It's been a while, you know, come see us play. We're doing really well. We watch you in the gym, watch you in the Janelle Center, Stevens Arena, you know, but yeah, it's definitely been a while. It's been hard, but we're looking forward to getting in front of our home crowd next weekend.
And all this traveling, you may not get to do as much here back in San Angelo as you do on the road. What do you do with the team maybe to keep them focused, maybe keep them together as a team, maybe some chemistry building?
Yeah, so when we were in Colorado, we took our team whitewater rafting, which was pretty cool. You know, I really enjoyed that. There was Class 3 rapids, which aren't horribly challenging, but they're not really flat and boring either, you know. So the team really liked that a lot. It was great weather. It was a great experience. A lot of them have never done that before, you know. So when we're on the road, like for a conference match, you know, we don't do a lot, honestly, because we're only there for a day. You know, 2 days, we're there, we stay, we go play to the next team the next morning. You know, so there's not a lot of time to do stuff there, but we eat pretty good on the road, which is good. You know, we're a good eating team. We like to eat some good food.
And so when you travel, you've traveled a lot. You've been here a long time. You've been a coach for a long time.
Sir.
What are some of your favorite places to travel and go play? Maybe some annual tournaments y'all play in.
Well, we try to go to Colorado every year because that's the other conference that's in our region. We need those in-region matches. So we go all over. You know, we've been to Alamosa, we've been to Gunnison, we've been to you know, Denver, Colorado Springs, Grand Junction. We go to where all those good teams are, you know, because we want to play those matches.
And so going up to Colorado, nice weather up there, but y'all play indoors.
Yeah.
Has weather ever been a big factor for y'all when y'all see a schedule and have to travel somewhere?
No, it's not, unless there's, you know, some kind of, you know, storm or whatever. It's never been an issue. Indoor sports are the way to go.
Oh, yeah. Don't have to worry too much about it.
Not at all.
But so you've been a coach for volleyball for a long time. Where have you all coached before coming to Angelo State?
So before Angelo State, I was at Florida Southern. I was an assistant there for 5 years. Before that, I was in Fort Myers, Florida as a high school coach. You know, that was 6 years. And then I was a JUCO coach up in New York for a year before I moved to Florida. So that's 29 years altogether. That's a long time.
Out of all the places you've coached, you've been around New York, Florida, San Angelo, and what's it been like moving like that, coaching volleyball?
Well, I've had a family, you know, with almost all of those stops, you know. So number one, it's got to be the right place for my family, you know, and my wife has to say yes. That's probably the most important part, you know. Moving to Texas 17 years ago, it was really because she said yes, you know, and she decided that this was a good place for us, and it was a great opportunity for me, you know. So like I said, 17 years later, we're still here. We love it here.
And so you've been coaching here in San Angelo for 17 years now. And what's been your favorite place or favorite part about San Angelo?
Well, I grew up in a small town in upstate New York outside of the Adirondack Mountains. So 9,000 people in my little town, you know. I like the pace of San Angelo. It's big enough to have everything you need. I mean, there's 100,000 people here, you know. But it doesn't take me an hour to get somewhere. Like if I was in San Antonio or Austin or Dallas, you know, I like the ease. I like the pace. I love the people. The people here are fantastic. They're so welcoming and so supportive of what we try to do here with our university. It's been a great place. I really like it here.
A lot of coaches bring up the pace and how Angelo is whenever they're talking about their recruiting process.
Yeah.
Is that one of your biggest pitches when you start recruiting girls?
No, because most of the kids that I recruit are not from small towns. You know, they're from bigger, faster, you know, so I tell them you're going to drive through a whole lot of nothing to get here, you know, so when you get here, we better have something nice to show you. And our campus is great. Our facilities are some of the top facilities in the country for Division II, you know, so, and then we win. Winning sells a lot. You know, we're very competitive. We have been. We've set a standard for a long time, you know, so it's nice to have a lot of things that people are interested in.
And so you talk about you recruit girls from bigger schools, try to get them here, talking about the campus. in that same building that you're trying to recruit these girls in, you have other coaches that you can look to.
Yeah.
Do you ever walk around and talk to the coaches of other sports, try to get their insight on your sport?
100%. And it's less about my sport, but more about stuff, stuff that happens within a team, because every coach has dealt with something, and if you haven't dealt with it yourself, somebody in that office has probably had a similar experience, so there isn't a single day that I don't talk to some other coaches, like, Travis Scott, our softball coach, he's been there a little bit longer than me. He's won national championships, played for championships just about every year. He's great. Vinay Patel, who's only been with us a couple of years, he and I talk about just about every day. Alicia, all the coaches in our offices are experienced, but they're great people. They're easy to talk to. They're willing to share. It's not a these are my eggs type of, like when our baseball team was a national championship, that helps me. That helps our program. That helps all of our programs. So I want all of our teams to be great all the time, and it's easy to talk to those coaches because they have similar, things that they're going to come to me sometimes, so it's always a give and take. And I really like that about the camaraderie and just the ability to bounce things off of people who have lots of experience.
Not all sports are similar. Some are different based on just the sport itself, or volleyball. It's a women's sport here at Angelo State. Do you ever talk to more of the other women's coaches about things going on with the team and maybe chemistry things? Yeah,
there are some things that are very specific to coaching women that, coaches that only coach men probably don't have to deal with, but it's okay. They have things that I don't have to deal with either, only coaching women. So, but, people are people. And you have human experiences, and those are the things you ask questions about.
And so we talked about the coaches around here, the winning culture, and bringing in the recruits. What's the hardest part about the recruiting process? Because I know high school, they usually play around the same time y'all do.
Yeah, I think that's, we don't get out very much during the fall. That's our season because we're kind of remote. We're 3 hours from any major city, and so that's a challenge. I think most people across the state, not everybody's familiar with where San Angelo is. That's the first question I get. What's that near? I'm like, well, nothing, but, you talk about Abilene and the cities, how far it is from other cities, and how you can drive 6 hours from San Angelo in any direction and still be in Texas, and they're like, wow, but like once we get them on campus, I think the sell is a lot easier. We have to get them here first. And once we get them here, they see the people, they interact with our players, they see what the town is like, and the lake, and there's an airport. There's all kinds of stuff here. They just, if you haven't been here, you just don't know. So our job is to get them here so we can show them.
And you talked about what sold you coming here is your wife said yes before anything.
Well, that was the steal, the final thing. But like the facilities here are unbelievable. The support you get from the administration and the town itself. Like San Angelo is super supportive of Angelo State athletics. The winning culture, everybody's good. All the sports are good. Almost all of them every year are ranked in the top 25 at some point. So like it's a winning culture and sports matter to this campus. And I think that's number one. Like you have to go somewhere where athletics is valued as a piece of the university, and it definitely is valued here.
And you talked about your wife, and she supports you, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all came all the way to San Angelo, Texas. But what is y'all's relationship like whenever she's supporting you and what you're doing?
Well, it's just like any marriage, like she wants us to do well, we have a family, we've got 3 kids, it's no different than anybody else in anybody else's job. I travel a little bit more. I'm gone probably a little bit more than the average, husband and father, but she was a college athlete. Her sisters were college athletes. She understands what it takes to be great at that level, to the commitment it takes and how much you have to pour into your team, but she also expects that of me, and our family to pour into them just as much. So it's great. She's awesome. She knows the game really well. She played volleyball in college. So I get home and I get coached when I get home, but that's great because she knows the game, and she's very rarely wrong. So I listen to everything she says.
You talk about her coaching you when you get home. I know some of the other coaches here at Angelo State, head women's basketball coach, her husband's an assistant, softball coach Scott, his wife as an assistant. Have you ever thought about bringing her on?
She does not want to coach. That's the one thing that, you know, she'll tell me all about it, but she doesn't want to be about it. You know, she doesn't want to be involved with that stuff. But she's never afraid to tell me, you know, what she thinks. So, which is great. You know, sometimes you got to hear things you don't want to hear, you know, and she's not afraid to tell me that. My assistants aren't afraid to tell me that. That's what it's about. You know, you want to grow as a person and a coach and a human. So I really appreciate her input all the time.
And so you also said you had 3 kids. Did any of them play volleyball? Did they get that from you?
Yeah, my oldest, she played volleyball. She played at Central Arkansas, and she's graduated. She's 26 now, 4th year of med school. You know, my son, he went to all of my camps when he was growing up, but he ended up playing tennis in high school. You know, he's a freshman in tech, and I have an 11-year-old. She's a little volleyball player. She's starting to get into it. You know, she's got a little bit later start than the other 2. Because we spent so much time chasing them around, you know, but she likes the game too. She wants to play as well.
Did you ever try to recruit your oldest to come play for you?
Yeah, I tried hard. You know, I probably broke every recruiting rule. You know, she's my daughter. I gave her money, I bought her a car, bought her mom a house, you know, and that's probably breaking some rules there, you know, but fortunately she's my daughter. But no, she wanted to go do her own thing, and she carved her own path, and proud of her for doing that. She had a great career at Central Arkansas. They won a lot. She did a lot of really good things there.
Family is the biggest supporter you can ever have, but you might not want to be too involved with them when it comes to the things you're trying to do for yourself.
Well, I would have loved for her to come play for me. She would have been great for us. But, you know, I want her to do what's best for her, you know, and let her make those decisions, because I don't want her to come back and say, well, you made me, and no parent wants that. You know, you want your kids to kind of carve their own path, and she definitely did a great job.
And so you carved your own path growing up. Where did you go to high school? Did you play any type of sports growing up?
Yeah, I was like you. I played a lot of sports. You know, I grew up playing baseball and football and basketball. I played basketball in college. Yeah. Didn't pick up volleyball until my senior year of college, you know. And from the time I was probably 7 until I was 21, 22, I played basketball every single day. Yeah. You know, and so we still got some old man games go on in the back gym, you know, the Ox Gym and the Janelle. So I still try to, you know, play a little bit, stay competitive, you know, old man game, definite slow, low to the ground, old man game, but pretty good still.
Kind of like Larry Bird after the back injury.
Yeah, maybe not quite as good a shooter as Larry, but sure.
But you said you played basketball your whole life nearly. Yeah. Did you want to coach basketball originally?
No, I never thought I'd be a coach. I got a degree in physics, you know, so I thought I was going to go, you know, invent something amazing, you know, but it just kind of fell into my lap, and I learned pretty quick that it was something I was all right at and that I wanted to pursue, you know.
So how did you you never played volleyball really until you were a senior in college?
Yeah.
How did you get into coaching volleyball?
When I was back home in New York, the junior college that was in my little town, they were restarting their volleyball program. Their athletic director, he knew me because he was a basketball coach for a long time, so he'd known me since I was probably 12 years old. He knew that I played volleyball, and he's like, listen, you know, we're trying to restart this. Would you be interested? And I was like, sure, you know. Never coached, didn't know anything about coaching volleyball, you know, or really anything. And went into it, and that was my first year of coaching.
And so starting up that program, no volleyball.
No clue at all. None. Zero about coaching. I was a pretty good player, but I just had no idea what I was in for. But I'm still doing it, so I must have figured something out.
What was that experience like, paving the way for you to be the coach you are now? You have a national title, Coach of the Year.
Yeah, well, you make a lot of mistakes, and if you're smart, you learn from the mistakes. You know, otherwise you just keep making them. And so I learned a lot in that first year about people. It's all about people. Coaching is like teaching. It's a people business, and you got to care about the kids, you know, that you're coaching or teaching, you know, because that they'll respond to you, you know. But if you don't care, they don't care. So it's important that you are invested in the people that you're trying to help.
And talking about investing in the people you're coaching, teaching, helping, what are maybe some things you do with new recruits coming in and building a relationship with them?
Well, that relationship starts when they're sophomores in high school in the recruiting process. You know, they're not going to come out here if they don't know who I am and what I'm about. So we spend a lot of time in the recruiting process really focusing on getting to know each other. You know, you don't want to miss. Because the character piece is number one for me. It's more about the who you are versus the how good you are. You know, how good you are matters for sure. We need talent, but the who you are matters, because we want talent in the gym, but we want quality people in the gym too. I got to spend a lot of time with these kids. They got to spend a lot of time with me. And if they just don't fit, in terms of who they are, it's really hard to coach them, and they're uncomfortable too. So I try to find the right people, selfless people, servant leader type people that are invested in themselves and want to be great at something.
And so you talk about the character, and every coach I've ever brought in last year, this year, talking about that recruiting process. Character is number one. Even say they're the number one recruit in the country, they may not be the best person. And Angelo State has a way of bringing in the top characters.
Yeah.
How do you think that really just builds into the winning culture we've built here?
Well, the right people lead to great things. The wrong people don't. So if you're good at it, if you're good at finding the right people, you're going to be successful, and how successful just depends on how talented those kids are, how far they want to go, but like when you have the wrong mix of people, doesn't matter what the talent level is, you're never going to achieve the things that you could have.
And so that character also leads into the classroom. And I know you're not just coaching athletes. This isn't professional here, but you have to balance the school life and the athletic life.
Yeah.
What kind of struggle does that bring?
Well, it's hard because we miss time. We're gone a lot. I'm really thankful to the professors here on campus who are very supportive of athletics as well, not just the community. Yeah. They do a great job of making sure that these kids get the same opportunity that a regular student gets. Most people think that athletes have an advantage. It's not an advantage to not be in class. It's not an advantage to be missing things that other kids are getting while they're in class. It's a huge disadvantage, and that's a big misnomer that's out there, And so I appreciate the fact that we want our kids to be up front, ahead of the game, not come back after and say, oh, I was gone, to come in ahead of time and say, I'm going to be missing. What can I do to get ahead or stay ahead while that's happening, And if we do a good job of that, the professors usually do a pretty good job of working with us, But our team GPA is usually pretty high every year, every semester. We've had 3 academic All-Americans now, those are kids that are performing on the court and in the classroom at a super high level. I've got kids that are doctors, vets, lawyers, TV personalities, like you name it, teachers, bankers. They're doing it all. They're doing everything they came here that they wanted to do.
And so I want to talk about, you're talking about some of the academic achievements. I believe this last year you had 8 recipients of the D2 ADA Academic Achievement Award. Uh-huh. What does that kind of award mean, getting that many players? I don't know the exact number of players on your roster, but 8 seems pretty high for volleyball.
That award is pretty prestigious. It's about half of our team last year. But I think one of our players was on the athletic director's honor roll, was on the Lone Star Conference commissioner's honor roll, because we want those kids. We want kids that are smarter kids, are more fun to coach. There's one less thing we have to worry about as coaches, and I'm not that guy that's outside of their dorm at 9:30 at night saying, you got to do your homework. I want kids that are self-sufficient and intrinsically motivated to do those things, that come here wanting to play volleyball, but wanting something more for their life after volleyball.
And we're talking about balancing that back when you were in school. I bet you were a pretty good student when you were playing basketball in college.
I was a good student. I've always been a good student. Physics major, you got to I went to a school where everybody wears their SAT score on their forehead, and so it's a high-end, engineering school. So, no, but you don't get into those schools if you don't do the work. You don't get to stay there either. So, yeah, it was. I was a pretty good student back in the day.
So, being a collegiate athlete, does that really help with your relating to your players?
Well, it does and it doesn't. I'm old. I'm 30 years older than these players, so things are different for them. The technology, the internet. There was no internet when I was in college. Nobody knew what that was. So it's just different for them. The learning process is a little different, and what the things, the resources they have at their fingertips is a lot different than what I had. But the desire to want to be great at something is what I look for. That's what I can help them with. If you want to be great, you got to do the work to be great, whether it's on the court, in the classroom, in the community. All of those things matter.
And so we're talking about balancing that, but we're still talking about volleyball.
Yeah.
We want to see them go out there and perform at a really high level, which your team always does.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a few awards your players have gotten this year.
Sure.
We've had Maddie Parrish named Division II National Player of the Week.
Yes, sir.
And then we also had Demi Carter earn Freshman of the Week honors, and Adeline Ortman earned LSC Setter of the Week. Yeah. And she also notched her 2,000th career assist this year.
Yeah. We had another Freshman of the Week. Sydney Thornton was also a Freshman of the Week, and Callie Enax got her 1,000th dig of her career. Yeah. The day before Addie got her stuff. So like, there's a lot of achievements happening. You got good players, you got good people. They're going to do great things.
Getting these career honors like 1,000 dig and 2,000 assists, what's it mean to keep these players around for so long where they get these achievements?
Well, Addie's a transfer.
Oh,
so this is her first year with us, but I'm glad she got that number with us. She's spectacular. She works her tail off. The kids love her. She's added a really positive piece to the puzzle for us, but I'm glad that she was here when she did it. It was really cool. And Callie, this is Callie's 4th year. She's graduating for us. She's been our starting libero for 3 of those 4 years, so it's been fun to watch her grow and develop. Like, she had a match on Saturday. She had her career high 38 assists in a match, spectacular. She's just making plays and doing her thing, really proud of her.
And so we're talking about this, and you've had a long line of successful volleyball players come through this program.
Yeah.
Do you ever keep in touch with some of your older players?
Yeah, a lot of us, we talk all the time. I keep a little group me of all of them.
Yeah.
And even the players that didn't play for me, that played before I got here, they're included in there. So we keep in touch. They come to alumni events. They come when we're on the road. They come and watch us play, which is, if they're living in that area, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, it's there's been a lot of players that have come through those doors, before me. And while I've been here, 17 years, a long time. So a lot of them, they have kids. They're getting extra degrees. They're changing jobs. They're doing things. We try to keep track as best we can.
And so you talked about how Ortman, I believe, is a transfer from this last year.
Yeah.
What's it like, the transfer process? I know not all the players you have can be out of high school you recruited.
Yeah. Well, it's the transfer portal is part of college athletics now. There's no getting rid of it, and I think it's got pluses and minuses. A lot of programs try to refill their roster with transfers, but then people transfer for a reason. Yeah. And not all of those reasons are positive reasons. They had a bad experience, or they were the bad experience maybe, and you just never know, and so we've been lucky with the transfers that we've had come in over the years, that they've been the right kind of people that have helped us be successful.
Do you ever, whenever you're bringing in a transfer, do you ever talk to the other coach that they're leaving to kind of see their side of the story?
Always. That's the first call, always. If you're not making that call, then you don't really care about the character of people that are coming, so it's always the first call.
And so you've been around for a while. The transfer portal, it being such a big deal, is kind of new. Are you for or against it? I know it has its positives, but...
Well, there are some positives, but, like, for me, I'm a guy that knows everybody, out there in the Division I world, and Division II world as well. And so I could always find a transfer, just through who I knew and who had them. But now it's like window shopping. Everybody has access to everybody. That's so... it's kind of made it harder for me, in my recruiting to get transfers. So now everybody's on a kind of a level playing field with that.
And so do you prefer getting them out of high school, starting that recruiting process young?
Yeah.
Whenever you're looking at a transfer, is it a big deal if they're a junior, maybe they have 1 more year of eligibility, or would you prefer to get a transfer with 3 more years?
It just depends on what our needs are. A lot of the time, the transfers that we get are kids that we recruited when they were going through high school, and they went somewhere else and maybe graduated earlier, whatever the case may be, or they have a teammate that really hasn't had a great experience here, when they were like a high school teammate way back when, but we do our homework. We try to find the right people, and your needs are different every year. Yeah. Stuff happens. People you expect to be there, stuff comes up, they decide they don't want to play anymore, or they get injured or whatever. There's lots of reasons. So it's really case by case. It's not like we're just going shopping every year for fun. We're if we have a need and we can't address it through the high school system, then we go to the portal. I think a lot of coaches would say that too.
The portal is becoming a big thing now, changing college sports forever. But Coach, I think we're getting to the end of our interview here.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say real quick, do you have something you want to say to the people? Get out to the games. Anything you got to say?
Yeah, so we're away again this week, but we're home the week after, and we would love to see you in the Janelle Center Stevens Arena. We've been gone. We miss you. Hope you miss us too.
So, guys, thank you for watching this week's episode of Ram Zone. We had Coach Chuck Waddington this week, and I hope you'll come back next Monday to watch us. But, Coach, have a good one. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.